This windmill behind me first started producing flour over 180 years ago, and today also helps make rather a good pint. Find out how and exactly where I am in just a moment. Today's house hunters are ready to move to pastures new in the countryside closer to family. Our properties offer rooms with views that leave them startled.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is really surprising. Did not expect this.
And we've also found spaces that leave them dumbfounded.
Oh, they're absolutely fabulous.
Gosh.
I'm speechless.
Today, I'm in Lincolnshire, and behind me is Heckington Windmill, the last remaining 8-sailed working windmill in the country. Originally constructed in 1830, the tower has recently been refurbished, and now not only mills wheat, but also barley for an on-site brewery. Later on in the show, I'll be finding out more about this rather unique enterprise. Lying on England's east coast, Lincolnshire covers a vast area of over 2,000 square miles. The county shares borders with Cambridgeshire, Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire and England's smallest county, Rutland. In northeast Lincolnshire lie the Wolds, a landscape of rolling hills, valleys and chalk streams. Further south, marshy fenland was drained several centuries ago to reveal low-lying, nutrient-rich agricultural land, which generates more fresh produce than anywhere else in the country. When it comes to setting up home, the town of Stamford is one of the most desirable centres in the county. Here, the architecturally rich streets are lined with stunning Georgian facades and over 600 listed buildings made from local mellow limestone. Lincolnshire also happens to be one of the most sparsely populated counties in England, and so makes for an attractive option for those seeking a truly rural escape. As it stands, the average price of a detached house here in Lincolnshire currently comes in at £176,000, which is around £100,000 below the national figure, which represents a pretty good proposition for those seeking their very own escape to the country. Now, the beautiful city of Lincoln itself and some of the villages to the north are slightly more expensive. But heading east towards Boston, well, areas like that haven't seen price rises for quite some time, so these represent even more value for money. Time to catch up with today's buyers then, and find out why they're looking in this beautiful and reasonably priced part of the world. Peter and Melanie met whilst working as teachers in the same school, and have now been married for 25 years.
She's a very strong lady, good sense of humour, very loyal, and very, very popular.
Peter, very good with words, irritating because he always corrects me, but he's brilliant.
Based in Lots Heath between Southampton and Portsmouth, they live with their 2 dogs and 2 cats. Peter and Melanie have 3 children between them from previous relationships, all of whom have moved away with their own families. Now our buyers feel it's their turn to try somewhere new.
We've been here 23 years.
When we first moved here, it was strawberry fields, but recently all the housing development around us is new. So gradually from open fields and areas to walk the dogs, we're now surrounded by houses.
Peter is retired, but dedicated head of science Melanie is finding it harder to cut ties as she approaches the end of her working career.
I don't want to retire, but I've got to. They've appointed my successor. I've got to move on, and there's no way I'd still be wanting to live in this house, knowing that my work was just down the road. So I'd really like to move.
And the ideal base for them would be somewhere within easy reach of their narrowboat, docked in the East Midlands, and their 5 grandchildren who live in London and Yorkshire.
We'd love to be closer to family, and it seems that Lincolnshire will offer exactly that. So equidistant between children and grandchildren and boat would be ideal.
And we actually managed to take the canal boat through Lincoln last summer, and it was absolutely beautiful. So Lincolnshire is where we'd like to head.
Narrowboat enthusiasts for over 30 years, Peter and Melanie plan to enjoy their newfound free time by spending the summer months of the year exploring Britain's waterways.
The lovely thing about narrowboating is that you can get out and you're just away from everywhere.
The boat is usually in the middle of nowhere, and you can just walk, you can enjoy the space.
You meet a whole variety of people. You can go to places you never dream of. It's lovely.
And on dry land during the winter months, Melanie's passion for education means she's considering starting back at school.
I love teaching. I think helping in a school would give me a way into becoming part of the community.
As for Peter, he's looking forward to spending as much time as he can tending his garden. And they're both relishing the thought of entering this next phase of their lives together.
We're going to have more time to do the things we like doing and do new things as well.
Yeah, he can go to museums and I'll go riding, or I'll go and do
I
something.
promise not to
because
join the choir.
I hate museums and he can't sing.
At all.
Peter and Melanie are excited to learn about what the Lincolnshire countryside can offer them. So they're flexible about where in the county they'd like to settle, as long as they're within an hour and a half's drive of their narrowboat, which is moored in Derbyshire. I'm meeting up with them to get a better idea of what might float their boat when it comes to finding their perfect property. Well, good morning, Mel and Peter. Hello.
Good morning.
Welcome to Lincolnshire.
Gorgeous day.
Isn't it
Beautiful
just?
weather.
You could have picked anywhere. Come on, why have you chosen Lincolnshire?
I used to live at Waddington,
Right.
so I've got a grounding here. I used to live on the RAF station at Waddington. We wanted a county that was different to all the other counties that we'd been to.
Now, the boat's the all-important thing, isn't it? How much time do you plan on spending on this boat in your retirement, then?
Well, perhaps 5 months a year, something like that.
Oh,
Not
nice.
all in one block.
OK, so not all at once. So I take it then you want the commute time to be as small as possible.
At the moment, it's about 3 hours to drive up, and if we could cut that to an hour, hour and a half, it would be ideal.
OK, well, let's talk about the house. What do you need from this house, then, Mel?
It's got to have 3 bedrooms. I'd like really a kitchen which has got a dining area in it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be. We could have a formal dining room as well. I'm not worried about that. Can be a bungalow, can be a standard house. It has to have a garden, though.
Who's the big gardener out of you, both of you?
Oh, him.
Doesn't have to be big, just has to have a feeling of space.
We're looking in a part of the world where you get a lot for your money.
Yeah.
That must be one of the main drivers why you're looking
Yes.
here, then.
Yeah.
I suppose you could say we are downsizing to something the same size, but it's cheaper.
Well, that makes perfect sense, Mel.
And we're also homeless because we've sold our house.
Yes.
You know what, though? That actually is music to my ears because it means that you're committed now. You're committed to this move. So, let's talk about budgets. How much have you got to spend, then?
Well, 350, but perhaps 400 if it's something absolutely beautiful.
Great. All right, well, it's a beautiful day.
gorgeous.
Let's get started. Come with me.
Thank you.
With a maximum budget of £400,000, Peter and Mel have a fairly concise brief. They want a 3-bed property with a country-style kitchen diner and a sizable garden, all in a location within reasonable reach of their narrowboat. We've come up with a fine selection of Lincolnshire properties with which to tempt our buyers, but we'll be keeping the price tag under wraps until the end of each house tour. Our last destination is the Mystery House, where classic style meets 21st century technology and could literally bring the retirement dream to the front door. We're starting our property search in the sought-after village of Ropsley, an hour and 15 minutes drive from our buyer's boat in Willington. In the quiet village centre are a host of period cottages alongside a post office and a pub. There's also a primary school which could present rewarding opportunities for Mel as a volunteer. And there are a number of footpaths in the area which should make for some enjoyable dog walking. Located on the edge of the village is our first offering. So, option number 1 is this.
Looks good.
Looks
Doesn't
lovely.
it?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks very good.
Looks super.
Looks good size.
The original
Yes.
part of the property, that side, the
Yep.
front, was 2 up, 2 down, 16th century.
Oh, that's why
Wow.
You've got it.
that angle.
Yes, correct.
You can turn round on the front drive, but actually you've got an in and out drive. That's
Yes.
even better.
Now we're living,
Just
aren't we?
good.
Yeah, we don't like having to reverse onto a road.
Her reversing's not good.
You can say that, I can't. So, first impressions, these are good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's
Yep.
go inside, shall we?
Yep.
Lovely.
Come on, mate.
After you.
Dating all the way back to 1590, this attractive stone property has accommodation over 3 floors. It has been hugely extended over the years, building on the original character to create a unique country home. So let's start with this split-level living room. What do you think?
Brilliant.
Ooh, it's lovely.
Interesting, yeah.
Not too big, but gives that lovely feeling of space. And beautifully light.
Well, being such an old property, you know, an old 2 up, 2 down, you'd never have this sort of space. This, apparently, is conversions of an old barn, and with a conservatory beyond, it really brings that
Does
outside
spread
in.
it, stretches it beautifully, doesn't it? That's very nice.
You've got a wood burner as well, and a big hearth.
Lovely. Like the textures.
Well, this exposed stonework,
Stonework
this
is good.
timberwork, it works, doesn't it?
You
works
don't
very
have to
well.
decorate, that's why.
But you will have to dust the beams.
Oh, job allocation, I like it.
Absolutely. Sorted.
Well, let's go to the kitchen and see what you think of that. Follow me. Heading into the oldest part of the house, I'm hoping Mel and Peter will continue to be impressed by what the kitchen offers.
Oh, that is fascinating.
We're kind of galley style, isn't it? Just walking straight through.
But it's not really too constricted, is it?
No.
There's enough space to feel right.
Through there,
Yep.
you've got a door going into a really handy utility, downstairs loo.
Right.
OK.
Yep.
Now, there's 2 rooms the other side of this wall. A dining room straight off it.
Right.
And then you've got another snug that side as well.
Wow.
We can walk around all day and miss each other.
We could.
Yeah.
Sounds ideal.
That's perfect retirement.
Yeah.
Now, your choices are these. You could refurb this kitchen as is, maybe incorporate some of that rear space, or use an entirely different room for the kitchen.
Oh, that sounds intriguing.
Sounds
Let's keep
intriguing.
looking.
Yes, have a
lovely.
look.
Now, see this room?
Oh, this is a fabulous room.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is really surprising. I did
And this
not
is-
expect that.
And this is where you thought the kitchen could come.
Well, look, this wall here, it's only a stud partition, so you could bring this room right back to
Right
that
back.
stone wall.
Yes.
It would make an absolutely brilliant kitchen.
Yeah,
no,
that's
it
got
is.
a lot of possibilities.
I like it.
The feel definitely continues.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Even more upstairs. Come with
Oh,
me.
that'd be lovely.
With some expert input, this could make an incredible kitchen with impressive rural views. Next, we're off to explore upstairs. There are 5 bedrooms here and a family bathroom. Up on the 2nd floor, in the eaves, is a large double bedroom, and the other bedrooms are all on the 1st floor, including 2 cosy but well-presented doubles, as well as a small single. But we're stopping off at the rather generous master suite. So ensuite, dressing room.
Oh, I've got a dressing room. I've got somewhere to put my clothes.
Yeah. Now, good size, isn't it?
Yep, it's
Lovely.
a very, very good size.
Dual aspect. The view is lovely, isn't it?
This is something I've never seen before. Some of the things in this house are completely different, and it will be absolutely fascinating to just walk around later on and get a feel for where the other rooms
The
are.
meld between the new and the old is interesting. And that's been done quite well, I think.
This modern extension, 2-storey modern extension, it
Yes.
completely changes the whole house. Let's go outside and talk about price.
That will be difficult.
It will, indeed. The garden here, of just under half an acre, is mostly lawned and blessed with stunning, uninterrupted views over open fields. So, cracking outlook.
Certainly.
Now, the house, you can see now, it looks a lot bigger from this side than the front, doesn't it?
It's
is.
very big. Lots of rooms.
Well, OK, all this must come at a cost. Let's guess the price. How much do you think this house is on the market for?
You can go first.
Thank you. Well, I would guess they would be asking a little shy of 400, knowing what our budget is. 395.
All right.
With the 375.
Well, as it stands, this property is on the market for offers around £435,000. Having spoken to the owner, they said they would be prepared to negotiate down towards the top end of your budget. Well, that's something to think about. It's
Intriguing, then.
a first option. It's a big one.
Yes.
It is.
I think your job is to discuss amongst yourselves whether it's too big, and then we can go from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
Yep.
Catch you in a moment.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you later.
Over budget by £35,000, but open to offers, this spacious detached period property with 5 bedrooms benefits from gorgeous country views in an enviable edge-of-village location.
When we first saw the property, I thought it looked really good. I loved the stonework of the house, and it looked very neat, tidy and up together.
When we came in, this room particularly, I felt very comfortable with. When we came to the newer part of the property, it didn't have the comfortable feel, and that to me, it didn't match with the rest of the house.
I think it's the proportions that is nice. But having said that, we have to look very carefully at downsizing to somewhere not too big.
That was good.
Yeah. So you didn't get lost inside?
No, we found all, well, we think we found all the rooms.
Well, hopefully. There are lots.
There are lots. Maybe too many, but that's something to discuss maybe later on. Should we keep going?
Lovely.
Let's go. When they make their move, our buyers, particularly Peter, can't wait to get to grips with the Lincolnshire soil to landscape their new garden. With this in mind, we've arranged for them to visit Eastern Wold Gardens, known as the Lost Gardens of Lincolnshire. Formerly the site of Easton Manor, the estate has belonged to the Cholmondeley family since 1592. The manor house itself has not survived, but after 50 years of neglect, Lady Ursula Cholmondeley has worked to restore the natural beauty of the site and opened the gardens to the public.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Eastern Wold Gardens.
Thank you. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's quite a vista, isn't it?
It is absolutely gorgeous.
So the house
you.
must have been able to look out onto that.
The gardens were really important to the house, and it had this
Right.
fantastic 270-degree view. And it was one of the reasons I decided to restore them. A lot of the design that was here we've replaced
Yes.
because we have photographs from about 100 years ago.
That must have been a major decision, though.
Yeah, it was
Wasn't
a
it?
really stupid decision.
I was going to say brave, but you said stupid.
Lady Cholmondeley and her team have restored 10 of the 12 acres of garden here, which is now divided into 2 distinct sections. Within the remaining Tudor walls, the main garden echoes the one previously planted here. Modern additions include a yew tunnel created from 200-year-old yew trees and a traditional white garden. The second section was planted to inspire visitors. It has a vegetable plot, a pickery and a cottage garden.
So this is where the house was, and you can see over there, that's where the conservatory was. With a fantastic view looking out over the gardens.
Must have been beautiful.
Trying to encourage ecological diversity is something that I'm really keen on. So we do have a lot of meadows, and obviously a lot of bulbs have single flowers, which are excellent for insects.
So the planting is thought about carefully in terms of the ecology.
Very much so.
That must be
To do so.
interesting
It's
part of
very
your job.
interesting. Yeah, really interesting.
Lovely.
When we first came here, we were in a period of destruction. So we had heavy machinery, bonfires, and we really wanted to do some actual horticulture as soon as possible. So we started growing sweet peas, and we got a bit obsessed with them, and we now grow 100 varieties.
Sweet peas were introduced to the UK from Sicily at the end of the 17th century. However, it was some 200 years later in the 1900s when many of the varieties we find today were cultivated by botanist Henry Eckford. He experimented with the native Sicilian species to create a broader range of colours and sizes. Lady Ursula is taking Mel and Peter to the pickery where they can get a bit more hands-on and plant some of their own.
The first thing to do is to fill the pot with the compost.
You can do the heavy bit, don't drop it on the flowers.
Some guiders.
You want me to get muddy?
So sweet peas need a good deep base, and we're going to add some, this is slow-release fertiliser, something that's high in potash.
They're high feeders then, are they?
Yes, they are. So we're just going to sprinkle a bit of that in there. Now, the important thing about training sweet peas is, as you know, they have tendrils on them.
Yes.
So this has got nice rough texture.
So what is it?
It's a dogwood. The most important thing is to have lots going on the top, because a sweet pea is narrowest at its base, and it gets wider as it goes up. Now, the key to good sweet peas are good roots. So we're going to tap this out.
Oh,
And
what
there
a
you can see.
beautiful root structure.
These are heritage varieties, so they don't grow as tall. So we thought that would be nice for you to have this, because then they might be better size on the canal boat.
Oh, that's lovely
So they'll
thought.
get to
That's
about
very
4 to 5 foot tall.
Thank you. We've had a lovely time. We've learnt a great deal. That's very
Well,
kind of you. Thank
And
you.
I've got sweet peas at last, because you've never grown sweet peas.
Good heritage sweet
They
peas.
will look beautiful on the front of the boat.
Peter and Mel may have been impressed by the landscape grounds here at Easton, but might have to scale back their grand garden plans when it comes to our next property. And to get there, we're travelling south and out of the county to Tickencote in Rutland, which is an hour-and-a-half drive from their narrowboat. With its attractive traditional stone houses, Tickencote is in a quiet conservation area, and the River Gwash meanders around the outskirts of the village. On its doorstep is Rutland Round, a circular walk which has long attracted ramblers and is bound to be a hit with Mel and Peter. Located in the heart of the village is our next property. OK, option number 2, a very different option. As you can see, we're semi-detached, first of all.
I've got no objection
Right.
to that.
Good. This place, we're thinking, is your lock-up and leave for when you spend your 5 months on your boat. This garden, I think you could do something better with it for your needs. What you see is what you get. That is the compromise with this house.
Right.
OK.
Have you any idea where you are?
No.
Well, you are only 5 miles from Stamford, and if you
Right.
haven't been, you should go. It
Right.
is absolutely beautiful. And that's basically your local town.
Right.
A lovely area for you to discover. This is a base more than a
Okay.
home you
More
spend
than a
365 days a year.
OK.
No?
All right?
Right.
Look forward to seeing.
All right, come with me.
Thank you.
This characterful period cottage was originally constructed in 1860. Although it has a well-kept and modern interior, it retains many original features. However, I'm interested to see if our buyers are really ready to face the reality of downsizing.
Oh, it's beautiful, though.
It's lovely. It is smaller, much more.
It's only 2 of us to sit
confined.
down, dear.
That is true. Yeah.
This room is a very comfortable room. I don't need an enormous living room. This is very comfortable. Love this.
The owners think that this panelling came out of the Norman church just over the road. It looks lovely, doesn't it?
It does look good.
And it suits the room.
I love the fireplace. That natural stone just sets the room off beautifully.
Now, you said, in your own words, making sense from it, you were downsizing in a way. This genuinely is downsizing.
Downsizing.
No, yes. And you both seem to have warmed to it straight away.
Yes. No, I like this room.
All right, well, look.
I really do.
Great reactions. Let's keep looking around. Let me just squeeze through the middle here.
Yes, of
Thank you very
course.
much.
It's a lovely kitchen, though.
Am I benefiting from people that spend a long time on narrowboats? Because
Yes.
it's not the biggest kitchen, but...
It's bigger than my one on the narrowboat,
Exactly.
but it's been well done.
So could you see yourselves living, not full-time, but more of the time in a house with these proportions?
I personally could see myself in the house. It's the outside space that might be a compromise too far.
I get the feeling it's a little bit too tight.
A reason why there's less outside space than you'd normally imagine with these cottages is because they've built an annex out the back.
Oh, right.
Pretty much one up, one down annex.
Right.
Which I thought for visiting children and
part of
grandchildren...
this property?
Part of this place.
Oh, well,
That does make a
might
difference.
be different.
That makes a difference.
Oh, you thought that was a neighbour?
Yes.
No. I'm going to let you loose on the annex later on. The master, I think you'd still use the one upstairs here, so let me show you that.
OK, thank you.
Outside to the rear of the property, the two-storey annex has a small but comfy living room and sleeping quarters. But we're heading back through the entrance hall to check out the upstairs in the main house. As well as a 3-piece family bathroom, there are 3 bedrooms on offer. One is a small but bright airy double, another a single with handy built-in cupboards. And that just leaves the largest bedroom. So the master bedroom faces out over that beautiful church.
Lovely, isn't it?
Lovely window. Good size for a bedroom. Good size for a bedroom.
Much bigger than I expected from downstairs.
I like it.
It is good.
You do, don't you?
Yeah.
Are you surprised you like it?
No, because I'm quite happy to downsize. I'm not sure he's got his head round downsizing it.
What, inside or out, Peter?
Both.
Both.
I'm saying, was that a prompt?
No.
Surely not.
No,
No,
he-
this room
he
isn't
says-
too small.
He says,
The
I need more
The
space.
sitting room felt right. The kitchen is a touch small. Outside might make the difference.
Let's go back outside to the garden, because I think that could be the sticking point. We'll talk
Yeah.
it through.
We'll see.
Thank you. The only patch of garden here is at the front of the house and features a tidy lawn with mature planted borders, which on a day like today makes for a beautiful sunny spot. However, given Peter's thoughts on the property so far, I'm a little unsure whether the outside space here will be enough for him. Would you consider maybe turfing over that gravel and getting more garden?
No, I don't think so. I think that works well as it is. We need somewhere for the car. I think I'd be happy with this. If we were downsizing, this would be it.
But Mel, you seem to have warmed to this.
I like the idea of a smaller property, and this is very well presented. It's very comfortable. I like the amount of space. I don't need a great big garden.
OK, well, let's talk about the price. How much do you think this house on the market for?
It's your turn first, I'm pleased to say.
It's semi-detached and it's an awful lot smaller. I'd probably go for 310.
Right then. Peter?
I think I'd probably go slightly lower. 295.
Right, OK. I was trying to...
You're going to shock us now.
Yeah, I am, yeah. This place is on the market for £350,000. You're 5 miles from Stamford.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Well, look, go back into the house, but also go to that annex, have a good look at it. And then, well, I'll meet you outside whenever you're ready. In fact, I know where I'll be. I'm going to be sat on that lovely bench, basking in the sun.
Good sunbathing spot.
All right, enjoy.
Thank you.
See you in a moment.
Thank
thanks.
£50,000 under the top of our buyer's budget, this 3-bed semi-detached cottage is beautifully presented throughout. With an annex handy for visiting family, it's located in the centre of a desirable Rutland village.
When we came into the house, it immediately felt like a home. I love the way the rooms flow. Not many of them, but they actually work as you move around the house. It felt right.
I was amazed about the annex. It gave a great deal more life to my feelings about the property. The garden is lovely. Realistically, it's far too small from what I envisaged, but having to rethink it in terms of downsizing and looking at a smaller property, it's the sensible option.
This house feels as though we could move into it and enjoy living here.
I was nodding off then.
Sunbathing, sunbathing. It's
You're
bad
nearly
for-
awake.
What do you think?
It's lovely. It's true downsizing.
Yes, it is.
And I like it because it's true downsizing.
Well, that's something for maybe you both to argue over dinner about.
We will.
Argue?
We will.
Surely not.
Discuss then, maybe.
Debate.
All right, let's go.
Good.
Peter and Melanie from Southampton have a budget of up to £400,000, and they're longing to start a new life closer to their children, grandchildren and their narrowboat by moving to the Lincolnshire countryside. Coming up, we might have just struck lucky with our mystery property.
Oh,
It gets better and better. What a kitchen.
And I get to experience sailing, of a sort, as I take a step back in time to power up one of Lincolnshire's historic landmarks.
You're on the throttle, you're driving it.
I'm driving a windmill. Well, I'm rather looking forward to today because I think for Mel and Peter, it represents a challenge. The mystery house, well, it gives them so much of what they wanted. Short of showing them a boat itself, it couldn't get much closer to the water. And the property itself, well, it's a good-looking Georgian specimen. So what's the catch? Well, there's something nearby that some people love and some people loathe. Let's find out what they think. For our last stop, we're back in Lincolnshire, in the village of Helpringham, which is around an hour and 40 minutes drive from Mel and Peter's boat. Lying on the edge of the fens, St Andrew's Church is the focal point here, set back from the village green. There's also a pub, a primary school and a tea shop. The village lies in a conservation area and there are several Grade 2 listed local features, including a red brick road bridge built back in 1825. 3 miles outside of the village, in a very rural location, is our rather special mystery house. It's surrounded by open countryside inside of a wind farm, as well as some water. Now then, before we get to the house, I want to show you this. My goodness.
So when does the QE2 come in?
Well, funny you should say that. This is navigable.
On a narrowboat?
Yep. We've spoken to the river inspector.
You are joking.
No, I joke.
You are joking.
I do not joke. That is a mooring point. This is open for 6 months a year. You go up there, turn right, get to Boston, and it opens up the entire system to you.
How lovely. Oh, now that is incredible.
Now, the whole gamble about this house was, OK, first of all, yes, it's remote. We know
Surely
it's
not.
remote. Yeah, we know it's
Surely
remote.
not.
But people love or loathe those. I personally love them. But
Oh,
what
I
do you-
love them.
Do
I
you?
love them. Yeah,
They're all right.
I've got nothing against wind.
So I wanted you to see all that's here before we look at the house. So let's go and have a look at that.
Oh, my word, love.
Judging by Mel and Peter's reactions, they certainly weren't expecting that. I'm hoping that the house is going to come up trumps too, and I have a sneaky suspicion that it might. So let's look at the house itself. She's a beauty.
That's fabulous.
Beautiful. Oh, that looks gorgeous.
Very, very substantial. That is amazing. It's far, far bigger than I thought it was going to be.
It's not
Yes.
a small house. You
No.
know, it's typically Georgian in its proportions.
Is it that old?
Yeah, it was early 1800s.
I'd like to see inside. I'd certainly like to see inside.
Well, that's why we're here, so
Yes.
let's do just that. Come on, yeah. This 19th century Georgian property features a style typical of its time, and so has a striking symmetrical facade. It's an attractive property, and although it is rather remote, the generous layout and offer inside means our couple definitely won't have to deal with downsizing. So let's start with one of the two reception rooms.
Oh, this is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Gosh.
I'm speechless. It is an incredible room.
Well, good
Brilliant.
sized wood burner.
Wood
I know
burner.
you love those.
Yep.
And then nice detailing either side of the chimney. The Georgian proportions you get, I
Nice,
always
nice
love.
and square.
Yeah.
Nice and
Yes.
square. Can't wait to see the rest of it.
Well, you've got this reception room, another of equal size the other side
Right.
of the official front door. But I think you're going to love the kitchen. So let me just squeeze
Can't
through
wait.
that. So, big enough?
Oh,
It gets better and better. What a kitchen. Beautiful proportions.
I'm going to be rendered speechless.
It's a lovely kitchen, isn't it?
You've got dining
Right.
area there. And then you've got almost the same size again utility, the other side of that entrance hall.
Really?
Yeah, it's massive. Imagine the wet dogs coming in from outside.
That was my immediate thing. That's the dog's house.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see the rest of it. Definitely want to see the rest
Yeah,
of it.
quickly.
OK, great reactions down here. Let's start looking upstairs now.
OK, thanks.
Back through the entrance hall, we're going up to the first floor, where there are 3 spacious bedrooms. All doubles, they benefit from high ceilings with large sash windows that flood the traditionally square rooms with light. And there's also a family bathroom. Now then, this is officially the master, solely because it has an ensuite.
Yeah.
OK.
I think you could make this into a lovely master bedroom.
I'd be very happy with this as a master.
Now, right at the top of your shopping list, Peter, certainly, was the garden, which is one of the reasons why we're here. So let's go back outside, but also start thinking about price, OK? I know.
What a thought.
I know, sorry. This garden is the largest we've shown Mel and Peter. At around an acre and mostly lawn, the land here is partially walled, with established hedges that provide some shelter to the property from the winds sweeping across the fens. Now then, the man wanted gardens. Big enough?
They're enormous.
Yes.
And the view between the spaces between the trees just is lovely. You can see it for miles.
Yes. Well, all the property you see from here is yours. I mean, that new pantiled roof, that's all your garaging. I think there's 4 garages. So, you've seen a house that I think you've been surprised by.
We have been delighted by...
Amazed by.
Well, surprised me by guessing the price correctly.
You go first.
425.
Oh, I was going to say the same.
Oh, hard luck.
I'll go 430.
OK, well, I do have a little bit of bad news, because you're wildly out. This place in the market for £350,000.
350.
You are joking.
No.
You are joking. That is an amazing price. I am astounded, honestly. I am
can't
really
believe it.
astounded.
I can't believe
It's
it.
absolutely gorgeous.
You need to think long and hard about it. It's a very different environment to what you're used to. So go back into the house. You may be some time, but the sun's going down, so get a reel on. I'll catch you later on.
Thank
See in a
you.
minute.
OK, thank you.
£50,000 under budget, this detached Georgian property with 3 bedrooms has a huge modern kitchen, a large garden, and the added bonus of a potential narrowboat mooring located on fen waterways.
As we came in through the door, it exceeded expectations. It was phenomenal. It just felt right.
This is spectacularly good. It's absolutely beautiful. It will make a wonderful home.
It's exactly the sort of kitchen that I was looking for. Really, really good space.
I think the position, its rural isolation, is something that we would need to think about. But again, that's something I think we could probably live with. The house offers everything.
All done?
Yep, I feel like Doctor Who.
So,
You go through the door and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
not too big though, hopefully.
No, because every bit of it is useful.
So, Is this something to compare others by and to?
Absolutely.
Good.
Definitely.
Well, decision time looms. Let's go off and do that.
Good.
For centuries, wind power has been used as a natural source of energy, harnessed by windmills which are thought to have been introduced to the UK during the 12th century. At one point, there were estimated to be over 500 windmills in Lincolnshire alone. Today, there are 136 remaining in the county in various states of repair. But one shining example must be the one standing proudly in the village of Heckington. This mill ceased working in 1946, but since the 1980s, it has been in the care of the Heckington Windmill Trust, who have spent the last 24 years restoring it. I've come to meet Trust Director and Mill Manager Jim Bailey on site to find out how such an iconic local landmark continues its long-standing legacy. Jim.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thanks.
And thanks so much for seeing me today. Now, I understand this windmill hasn't always been in this guise since it was constructed in, what, 1830?
That's right. No, it was after 1830. It operated for 60 years. And then in a huge storm, the whole of the top, the 5 sails that it had, blew down. That would have been the end of the windmill.
Did they repair it straight away?
It was repaired within 2 years. John Pocklington, who was a miller in Boston, he wanted to own his own windmill. There was a windmill in Boston. He bought it at auction, cost £72 and 10 shillings. Demolished it, brought all of the top work across here and the bricks and rebuilt this windmill. We go from 5 sails to 8 sails.
So how do you get a beauty like this up and running and going?
I'll show you.
Lead the way, sir.
Thank you.
Each sail has 24 shutters, making 192 in total. On a blustery day, they're opened, and on a calm day, they stay closed to harness the wind and maximise the power of the sails. I'm going to try my hand at setting these sails in motion.
Here we are. Here's the brake. So hand over hand and pull it down. All right, and then just slowly release it. And there we go. Brake's off. So what we need to do now is close the shutters on the sails and she'll go. So lean out, and you're going to pull down on this. When you pull down on this, you'll see the shutters slowly begin to close. There, you see it's closing now.
I can see them.
Right, and hopefully there is enough wind, and there she goes. She's off. Now you're driving it. That's fine, she'll slow
I'm
down.
essentially on the throttle here now.
You're on the throttle, you're driving it.
I'm driving a windmill.
Yes.
The Trust is made up of volunteers, around 200 in total. These enthusiasts work as guides and shop staff, as well as millers. Spread over 6 floors, the windmill is capable of milling over 5 tonnes of flour a day. Is this how it would have appeared hundreds of years ago?
Yes, I think so. There's about half a tonne of flour around us in various bags and sacks. There would have been much more because their output would have been higher. We milled half a tonne of wheat at the weekend. We mill the barley here for the brewery. We are the only windmill in the country that's milling malted barley for a brewery.
Well, I wouldn't be thorough unless I gave that brewery a good inspection. So I think it's a good point to leave you. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
I'll see you again. Bye. Literally sitting in the shadows of the windmill, the 8-sail brewery has been producing beer since 2010, and most of its grain is grown locally, malted locally, and milled right next door by the windmill. Proprietor Tony Biggott has got me working for my liquid lunch, so I'm breaking up hops in preparation for his beer making. So, Tony, what would you say would be the one big advantage, if you like, of having a windmill next door to you?
It's 2 businesses that actually use the same basic ingredients. On one hand, grain being turned into flour. On the other hand, grain being turned into beer. We actually produce one beer that's on the shelf that is purely made from the grain, made next door, and it's named Kibble, which is coarsely ground.
Now, Tony, you're not going to wait for me to fill this entire bin, do you?
No, probably
Give me a
not.
pint, are you?
Let's have a look. Go on then, I reckon that's worth a half.
I'll take you up on that.
Go on then.
It takes 7 whole days to complete the brewing process, including fermentation. Tony has perfected a range of 13 types of beer, several of which are award-winning, and my taste buds can't wait to sample the blonde. Oh, that's good, that is. That is really good. Well, look, I wish you all the very best with your enterprises, not only here, but in the windmill itself. And I'll see you again.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Well, as you can see, Mel and Peter reacted pretty well to a couple of the properties I showed them. But I have a sneaky suspicion the mystery house might have just edged it. But has it done enough to warrant a second viewing? Let's catch up with them and find out.
Hi.
Now then, tell me, do you have a favourite property?
Yes.
Is it the one I think it is? The mystery house?
Yes.
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 Why?
It's quite rural and it's quite isolated. But having said that, the house was beautiful, the price was unbelievable, and the views were just gorgeous.
When I ask how keen people are on a property, they normally say, if they're very keen, we'd like to go back for a second viewing. It sounds like your second viewing is quite unique. Well, run me through what you'd like to find out more about.
Well, we're going back tomorrow morning. We've already arranged that. And we need to go back and talk about the intricacies of actually running the house.
You move fast. Faster than your boat. So that's one part of the second viewing. The other part is getting there by boat then, by the sounds of it.
Yes, and that if we decided to go ahead and buy it, would have to be a longer term project.
Yeah.
For once we've sold the house, or completed on the house, got rid of the house down south, to actually come up and live on the boat and find somewhere that we could hire a smaller boat and take their advice. You know, can you get a narrowboat up the drain safely? I mean, it would be a real novelty to actually step out of the house and find that we could put the boat outside, so we could load it up there and then...
It's not a dream come true, isn't it?
It's got lots of exciting potential.
So, what about the county then? We were able to look around the mystery house primarily because it is in Lincolnshire. Things are cheaper here. Yeah. Are you satisfied that you've chosen the right part of the Midlands? Because you could have chosen a few counties, couldn't you?
I just thought it was the flat Fenland. And in fact, there's some beautiful countryside.
Well, look, whatever happens tomorrow at your second viewing, please let us know, won't you?
We will.
Love to.
We will.
Good luck.
Love to. Thank you ever so much. We've had a great time.
Me too. Well, the fact that Peter and Mel would consider the mystery house, even if it wasn't in a waterside location, shows just how strong a contender it actually is. But I'm buoyed to hear they're considering going back there because, yes, it's in a remote location, but it shows they're taking it very seriously. So tomorrow morning, first thing, they're back there for a second viewing to find out a few more bits and bobs about what it's really like to live out there. And I wish them both the very best of luck. See you next time. Mel and Peter did revisit the mystery house and decided the location was too remote after all. But the good news is they've since had an offer accepted on a barn conversion in a Lincolnshire village and are due to exchange very soon. If you'd like to escape to the country in England, Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland and would like our help, you can apply online at bbc.co.uk/beonashow.